Cleveland Fed president says she's a few good inflation reports away from thinking it's appropriate to lower rates. Loretta Mester is stepping down at the end of this month. That's due to term limits. And she spoke to Richard Quest just 2 days after the Fed voted, you'll remember, to hold rates steady. They also signaled on Wednesday the likelihood of just one rate cut this year. Remember, they were thinking there might be 3 or 4. Consumer inflation slowed in May, but has now been stuck somewhere between 3 and 4% for about the last year. Richard asked her what she made of that trend.
Things are moving in the right direction. I mean, we've made a lot of progress in the last 2 years. Inflation is down from its peak. Remember, it peaked between 7 and 9%, depending on what measure you're looking at. Right now, we're below 3. That's a great bit of progress there. We're not there yet, though, because our goal is 2%. At the same time, labor markets are very healthy, and that's a really good thing. We have a dual mandate. So we're making progress. We need to see continued progress, and I think that's where the statement is trying to convey, that we've made progress. We want to see that progress continue.
Right, but then, of course, what is the sign for you that there will have been sufficient progress to make the cut?
So what I'm looking for are a couple more months of good reports. We got a pretty good report, CPI report, the second day of our meeting this week. That was great. That was a great gift for my last meeting at the FOMC, I have to say. But we just need to I would like to see a few more of those reports. And as inflation comes down, and as 1 year ahead inflation expectations come down, then I would be thinking that it is appropriate to think about, taking off some of that restrictiveness in our policy.
Would you never just think, oh God, the markets are... Just give them a quarter, keep them happy, throw them a bit of red meat, give them a quarter, and then don't do anything for the next 6 months, and then while we bed down.
Yeah. No, I think we always have to be looking at what the economy is doing, where it's going, and what the risks are to our dual mandate goals. So that's kind of the evaluation I do before every FOMC meeting is, okay, this is what the incoming information tells us, the data, as well as all the reports that we get when we talk to contacts all across the 4th District in my case. And then that tells you something about, okay, this is where the economy is right now, this is where it's headed. There are risks to both parts of our mandate at this point, and we need to take those into account. That's how we set policy.
But we got, of course, a new tool some years ago, the famous dot plot, where we can actually see how everybody's views are changing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dot plot actually conveys how the committee is data dependent, right? So we use the word, we're data dependent. Well, what does that mean? It means that when data comes in, it may change your outlook, it may not. And then we use that to assess where things are and where they're going, and we would, write down a forecast. Every participant on the FOMC writes down their own forecast about where they think the economy is going, and importantly, what monetary policy should be appropriately in that case.
Right, so if you take that philosophy, and now again, just explain to me where you think we are. That's where the economy is. This is where monetary policy is going.
Yeah, so what did we see this year, right? We saw growth step down a little bit in the first quarter from where it was last year, in the second half of last year. But if you looked at underlying demand, that was still very strong. In fact, stronger than maybe we might have expected it to be given the level of interest rates. We saw labor market conditions very healthy still, payroll growth very healthy, but we're seeing that come into better balance, and we're seeing inflation that was basically stalling out a little bit in the first couple of months of the year, but in the last couple of readings, starting to resume coming down. All of that fed into the outlook, and why we decided, okay, it makes sense to keep rates at this level until we see that and become more confident inflation is on that downward path back to our goal of 2%. And then, right, it might be appropriate to start thinking about removing some of that restrictiveness.
There are many who thought you're going to fudge it, and you would tolerate a higher level, a marginally higher level of inflation, because getting down to the last mile is too difficult.
So I would characterize the decisions differently. I would characterize it when we started raising rates, it was clear that inflation was the focus, getting inflation down. Both parts of the mandate now are very much in our focus, and it's balancing achievement of both goals that become important. So it's not about, as you said, fudging it. It's basically now we have to balance, right, risk to both sides of the mandate, and that's what's different than when we started the increase in interest rates.
How do you balance that? When you have a dual mandate and it's not obvious that one side or other of the mandate takes priority, how do you balance it?
Well, that's where analysis, judgment come into play, right? We're always out in the districts across the country talking to both community development people on the labor market side and businesses to really assess where are things going, where are you seeing things. You know, our district contacts are telling us that it is easier to hire now than it was a year ago.
Other central banks are starting to cut. I know you obviously have a mandate for your own dual mandate, but you know, you don't live in an isolationist world. You sort of have an eye on what the BOE is doing, or what Madame Lagarde's doing in Frankfurt. How much of it are you aware that as they cut, that will have currency flow issues, that will have other issues that could alter the monetary stance?
Yeah, so we are in a global economy, and the U.S., of course, is a big global economy, of course. So we are very well aware of what's going on in other countries. But remember, their policy is also focused on what's happening in their economy, right? And our economies evolve at different paces. You know, there was this global shock to the economy, the pandemic, of course, which affected all economies, but the recovery from that and some of the policy actions, they're geared to their economy. But we're aware of those things because they do ultimately affect things that will affect both parts of our mandate. And so we're aware of those, but of course we're setting our monetary policy based on progress on our maximum employment and inflation price stability goal.